Thank you guys so much for clicking on the video. I hope you guys are doing well. Today what I've got for you is a little conversation. It's going to be about Warframe versus Division 2 and my thoughts on that. So let's go ahead and get into this. Are your fingers moist? Are they like good to go? Are they, lotioned up? If not, I'm going to need you to go ahead and make some tea real quick. Because we got this whole situation going on, right? Go ahead and make some tea. Take your fingers. Go ahead and dip them in there. Make sure they're nice and warm. And make sure they're nice and limber and ready to go, because I'm going to need you guys to leave a comment down below letting me know what you think about this, because this is going to be kind of crazy. Guys, if you're new here, I would really appreciate a sub and also a like down below if you reach the end of the video and you like what I'm doing here. If you are not already, make sure you go ahead and follow me on Twitter so that you know whenever I post a new video or whenever I go live on Twitch. All right, let's go ahead and get this started. So today's video, I'm not going to say whether I like one or the other, but I will say that I've played both games very heavily, both Warframe and the Division 2. I've played Warframe for a long time, probably about 6 years, 7 years, and I recently stopped playing in favor of the Division 2. So that's kind of where I'm getting my information from, personal experience, me playing both games pretty extensively. Not only have I just started getting back into the Division 2 really heavily, but also I was playing the Division ever since the first game, like literally since the first game dropped. I bought it day one. So and same thing with the Division 2, I bought it day one as well. So there's kind of my experience with that. That's that's how you know what I'm talking about. That's how I know what I'm talking about, right? All right, so these two games, different beasts in the same world, right? With Warframe is more focused on making people feel powerful. It's more focused on not endgame, not focused on endgame at all. So if you're looking for endgame, don't even bother going to Warframe. But if you are looking to hop into the game and feel powerful and have some fun, and turn your brain off, then Warframe is a game. On the other hand, the Division, you hop into it, and that's where you find your difficulty. That's where the challenge is. That's where you go in, and it's hard. It is very, very difficult, especially once you start getting towards endgame content. And yes, there is actually endgame in the Division. But there's certain things that Warframe does better and certain things that the Division does better. For example, I think that Warframe does a pretty good job in keeping bugs to a minimum. Every game has its bugs, but Warframe does a very good job of QAing their game and making sure that there's a decent, there's not really too many game-breaking bugs, right? The Division, on the other hand, they're horrible at that. As I said in one of my most recent videos, you could check that out using the eye icon above, right? They are not good at QAing their game at all. Either that or their programmers just suck. I don't know what it is, but I had that conversation in that video. If you want to join that discussion, click on that. But they have a lot of bugs. So that's one thing that Warframe does better than the Division 2. Another thing, right, that I really enjoy about the Division in comparison to Warframe is Warframe, their AI is kind of brain dead, to be honest. They kind of run at you, they shoot you, and that's about it. Some of them have some special abilities, right? For example, one of them might be a sniper, or one of them may be an assault trooper, or one of them may be able to fly. Another one may shoot rockets. Another one may have like a nullifier on its back so that you can't use your abilities, stuff like that, right? But the AI don't really do anything that makes you feel pressured, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't make you think on the fly. That's something that I give to the Division. I think that the Division does a really good job on its AI. And it's actually really impressive what they've done with their AI. Each faction feels very different because they all focus on different things. Some of them are much more aggressive. Some of them are much less aggressive. Some of them are more tactical. Some of them are less tactical. Some of them are trained. Some of them aren't. Some of them use tech. Some of them use less tech. And there's obviously a gradient with that, right? So you can have people who use a lot of tech, but they are very defensive. And we have other factions who are much more aggressive and they still use tech, but they are not very well trained, right? And the list goes on, and there's a bunch of different variations that they have with that, but that's what I'm talking about with the AI not only being varied, because this game has varied AI or varied factions. They each feel different to one another, in my opinion. but they also challenge you because of the way they fight, the way that they interact with you, right? And I think that has to do with the game being a cover-based shooter. It makes it a lot easier to make it so that the AI are more engaging, because they can come around and try and flank you. They can come around and just rush you. They can sit behind a wall and use drones, or, you know, stuff like that. Like, there's a bunch of different ways that they can make you feel pressured and make you feel like you have to move out of cover and keep on, you know, looking over your shoulder and checking to see where things are. In Warframe, you don't get that, you know? And one of the main issues with that is it causes the game to feel brain dead, meaning Warframe. Like, you kind of just turn off your brain when you're in the game. And that's something that's, honestly, it's pretty disappointing. One thing that I will give to Warframe that it has over the Division 2 is that Warframe has a decent amount of build diversity, right? So there's a bunch of different mods that you get in Warframe, and they each do a bunch of different things, but there is a lot of opportunity to make really interesting and really wacky builds. But the only problem is most people don't use it. Like, most people don't do the whole build diversity thing. For example, if you're going to use a build that is going to get you killed in combat, like within a couple of seconds, you're looked down upon, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. Why are you doing this when you could be using this, right? Why are you using a build of, I don't know, like movement speed or something like that, when you could just be using like, you could be maxing out your power, because that's what this Warframe is for, right? So there's a lot of build diversity available, but not a lot of people use that build diversity, right? But I think that also has to do with the fact that the game is more based on you feeling powerful rather than it just being a fun experience. And that's kind of another video I want to make about the about Warframe in the future. So, but we'll leave that there. With the Division 2, I honestly think that they don't really have that great build diversity, right? There's only a few select builds that you can do. You can have a skill build, you can have a damage build, or you can have a tank build. That's about it. And then you could have some hybrids in between, but that's really about it. There's nothing like some crazy movement speed builds. There's nothing like, I don't know, some interesting tech builds that allow you to, you know, do different things. Like, I don't know, like there can be more build diversity. And I think that Warframe does a really good job at that, but the Division 2 could use a little bit of work. Even after Title Update 8, I think that it could still use a little bit of work. One of the last things I want to talk about is the difference between gunplay in the two games, right? The Division 2 and Warframe. They're both third-person shooters, but they both feel significantly different, right? The best thing I can compare Warframe to is like a toddler on crack. Like, really, really fast-paced, right? But with the Division 2, it's much more slow-paced. Like, if you're gonna rush in, more than likely you're gonna die. But you kind of have to take things slow. And that allows the game to be a little bit more methodical and a little bit more thought out, and a lot of your options are kind of I don't know how to say it. Like, you feel a little bit more in tune with the game, right? There's a lot more decisions for you to make because the game is slower. But with Warframe, things are much more fast. Now, with this, I'm not going to say, you know, which one is better, because all of that is up to personal opinion. But in my opinion, what I prefer is the slower paced, methodical, and tactical of the Division 2. So in other words, I really like the Division 2, as you could tell from what I've said. Obviously, there have been some issues within the past few weeks that have caused some issues in the community. That's without a doubt. But to be honest, I think I'm going to continue playing the game regardless of those issues. I think that Massive, even though they made a huge, a huge judgment issue with the way that they handled the whole ban situation with the glitch, with the damage glitch, I still think that at the core of the game, I think it is a good game. Like, I'm enjoying playing it, so I'm going to keep on playing it. And I say the same thing to anybody else. Like, if you feel that the Division 2 doesn't deserve a minute of your time, then don't play it. That's fine. If you think that you still will enjoy the game and you still want to keep on playing it, then do it. I mean, it's up to you. At the end of the day, play the games that you want to play and do what you want to do, man. That's what I say. Now, what do you guys think about this? Do you think that Warframe is absolutely better than a Division 2? Why? Like, what reasons do you see that Warframe is much better than a Division 2? What are you looking for in a looter shooter? What are you looking for in a long-term game? And what if you're on the other side of the fence? Do you enjoy the Division 2 much more? Do you agree with some of my points? Do you think that you like that more slow, methodical gameplay, or do you like the fact that there is like that difficult content in the Division 2? Do you disagree with me saying that there's not really that great build diversity in the Division 2? Or do you think that the build diversity is actually really awesome? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And guys, that will conclude the video today. If you're new here and you got to this point, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And make sure you hit that bell to know whenever I post a video. Also, leave a like if you got to this point and you enjoy what I had to say. If you didn't, there's a dislike button there too. Make sure you leave a comment down below. As I said before, that's the most important thing, as I am a discussion channel here. Also, make sure you head over to Twitter and follow me on Twitter. That is really important, bro. Really important. Because I go on there and I post just funny stuff, and also that is the easiest way for you to get notified or for you to know whenever I go live on Twitch or I post a new video. So do that whenever you can. I would really appreciate that. But beyond that, guys, I'll see you in the next one.
You